Welcome to another episode of Don't You Have Something Better to Do? I'm your host, Chris Donley, your favorite musician, songwriter, singer, precious moments figurines collector. I try to stay busy, but I've been trying to have fun with this and reconnecting with some old friends that I've met through the music world. Um, just want to keep it all light and fun and say hey to some people and see how they're doing, really. And today I have my old neighbor from some years ago. Uh, this guy is a real musician, a professional musician. Um, I can't say enough good things about him. He's also a hustler. Like he has played in like bands. He's played in orchestras. He does lessons. Plays violin. Uh, I don't even know what all he plays, honestly. Violin, trumpet, an actual musician, a total professional, and actually a metalhead too. So we always bonded over that and really always had some fun conversations talking about music. And it's always fascinating to me to chat with like really trained professional musicians that know how to read music and write music and all that good stuff. And without any further ado, my old neighbor,
Okay,
Mister.
now can you hear me?
I can hear you. There you are. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Good, good. Yeah. This is exciting. We're recording, right?
Yes, sir. We
All
are.
right,
Evan, do me a little
cool.
favor. I told a little bit about you, but tell everybody
Mhm.
about yourself as much as you'd like to divulge or as little as you'd like to tell.
Oh well, I mean, you can ask me anything you want throughout the course of this. I wasn't sure, what direction you wanted to go with this, but I mean, I've been a musician my whole life. I assume that's the focus of this topic, right?
Yes.
So,
It's all
so
light
yeah,
fun and music and yeah, I just explained how it was always fun to chat with you as being a actual real musician, professional
exactly.
and I mean honestly I wanted to catch up with you anyway and see
Right on.
what you've been up to, man. The last time I talked to you, I, I think you went on that tour with Jeff Tate of Queensryche, like an
Right.
acoustic tour. Like what
Yeah.
else you been up to like since then?
Well, I've been doing theater work lately,
Really?
right? So, yeah. So currently, I am in a show at the Beck Center in Lakewood.
Hmm.
It's called Robber Bridegroom, and I actually have the book right here. And yeah, it's crazy. Most of the time, when you're playing in musicals, the musicians will be in the pit, which oftentimes means if you don't have a traditional orchestra pit underground, then maybe the musicians will be backstage, and you're playing into pickups or microphones, and the music is wired out to the theater. But for this show, the musicians are on stage, which I think is a lot of fun. You know,
Really?
and
Like
yeah,
what all do you play? Like violin, trumpet? Like are you
well, for this, I'm playing violin, and actually, this is I'm a classically trained musician, and I've been doing fun projects that'll get me out of my comfort zone. Like this particular show is bluegrass fiddle. You know,
really?
and yeah, and my cousin Jenny is also an amazing violinist, and she's gotten really into fiddling
Hmm.
the past few years. And I listen to her do it, and it's just like totally out of my wheelhouse. But last year, I got my first gig, like union gig at Playhouse Square, and it
Nice.
was a Patsy Cline show, right? Patsy
Wow.
Cline, and that's another one where the musicians were on stage the entire show, and that was the first time I got out of my comfort zone and did like country style fiddle.
Mhm.
And I actually, even though I kind of consider myself a faker a little bit when it comes to that because I always have sheet music, but I got really good at the style, you know. And so when this came along, Robert Bridegroom at the Beck Center, I'm like, yeah, bring it on.
Is it
And
just
this,
kind of more like frenetic, like more like faster paced? I mean, like, all right, not to sound like a moron, what's the difference between a violin and fiddle?
well, there's no difference in the instrument itself. It's just the
Okay,
style of playing,
g-
like
gotcha.
uh you don't do vibrato the same way when you're playing fiddle, and there's a lot more like intentional sliding and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And in this particular show, yeah, it's really fast. In fact, uh, this Robert Bridegroom show is officially the most difficult, the most technically difficult show that I've ever played.
Really?
So,
And that's
I,
including over like all the orchestra shows and
well, I'm
uh,
talking specifically like musicals,
oh, okay.
you know. Yeah, because obviously there's been some symphonies I've played that are ridiculous, you know.
What was your most challenging symphony to play?
Um, okay, well, I can name a couple. Um, Brahms' Fourth Symphony. I swear to get good at that first violin part is like learning a concerto practically, you know, and but it's still rewarding when you do it. And I would say like what did I do? Mahler 10?
I don't know.
Oh no. I'm thinking Shostakovich 10. That's another one, just ridiculous amount of notes, you know, and
Yeah,
just any Shostakovich symphony really. You know,
really.
there's certain symphonies you play where it's it, it gets you out of your wheelhouse of like conventional melodies that might have been written in like the 17 or 1800s, you know, like anything like you know, more modern symphonies like 20th century or whatever. It's like, no, you got to pick it apart.
Right.
You're not going to have any hope.
Well,
Just try to like just wing it.
well, that was always fun too, because like you being like that type of musician, and then really your love of metal. Like, we always
Yeah,
bonded and talked about that. And like I
yeah,
know Meshuggah really like kind of knocked your socks off and you know what I
yeah.
mean?
And I remember hanging out with you upstairs that one time we were geeking out to that Pantera video where they're trashing hotel. That was fun. I actually saw Pantera. I saw the real Pantera, you know,
Right.
before half the band was dead.
Right.
Ozfest 2000, and
Yeah.
I was what 19 years old at third row center.
Wow.
Saw at Blossom, saw Pantera, and it changed me,
Yeah.
you know.
What do
And
you think about this whole reunion thing?
you know what? If they want to do it, they have all my blessings. All right. I'm not going to go out of my way to go see it. You know, like I saw it like
You
20 something
saw
years
the
ago.
real thing in the heyday.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
I mean, my old bass player went and he said it was just fun, and he actually said Phil is sounding better than he's ever sounded,
Okay.
and like that Charlie actually is trying to play like Vinny's parts, but he's like, you close
Mhm.
your eyes, you can tell it's Zach playing guitar.
Right,
So it's
right,
not like, and I mean, if it's supposed to be a kind of a tribute, I suppose add your own
right.
flavor to it because I mean, I don't know if anybody else should have been since they were so tight, but yeah, I'm with you on the.
Yeah. One amazing thing was I think it was my first week of shows with Jeff Tate. Our lead guitarist on that tour, his name is Scott Mott, and he's an amazing guitarist. But we were in the green room before the show, and Scott said, "Hey, guess what? Vinnie Paul is in the audience." And I freaked out. I'm like, "Are you serious?" I just started like fanboying like an idiot. And Scott said, "Do yourself a favor. If you meet him, don't act like
Right.
that."
Just be cool, bro.
But unfortunately, he left right after the show, and I didn't get to meet him. But that was really cool anyway. You know.
I'm always afraid to meet anybody ever. I mean, you know what I mean, like big stars or anything, because I'm always
Yeah.
afraid if they're jerks, it's gonna ruin it for me. So I try to go out of my way to go the opposite way, just because I don't know. I that any other like famous people that you've met? Has anybody
Well,
been?
on that tour, I met Simon Wright, who used to play drums with AC/DC, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he. So Jeff Tate, when he was doing his full electric tour, you know, post Queensryche, he had his band called Operation Mindcrime, and it's Operation Mindcrime is kind of like a revolving door of musicians, you know. Well, Simon Wright was one of the drummers that he would use over the years, you
Okay.
know. I think you froze. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. Yeah, there we are.
Okay, we're good. Um, and also John Moyer from Disturbed played with them.
Really?
My first show with Jeff Tate was in San Antonio, and John Moyer actually jumped up on stage and played 3 songs with us. It was crazy.
Cool, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
How was Jeff Tate? Was he pretty mellow guy, or was he kind of like
He's
you're a
he's
hired gun?
extremely mellow.
Is
No,
he
he's extremely mellow. Yeah, yeah.
good?
He's easy to get along with, and I mentioned Scott, who was on lead guitar. The drummer, who was just playing a cajon. You know what a cajon is?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. It's literally, from what I
The
understand, it's
box.
Spanish for box, right?
Right. Yeah.
So he just sat on a box, playing that. And then so that was Ollie Jordan Kelly from Ireland, and we had Kieran Robertson on rhythm guitar, who's from Scotland. Okay, so we
Okay.
had kind of an international.
That's pretty
You
cool.
know, it was just by sheer like ridiculous luck that I got that gig, because Jeff, he was doing his acoustic tour. It was basically like unplugged Queensryche,
Right.
um, and he had some string players with him when they were in Europe. Then they were coming to America to continue the tour, and these Irish string players that he had with him had trouble with immigration, weren't allowed into the country, and
Really.
so they're frantic. It's like 3 or 4 days until their next show, and they don't have the musicians they need. So
Man.
just like kind of like this crazy network of people, I ended up getting a phone call and
Wow.
like, can you join us in 2 days? I'm like, okay.
Right. What year was that? Like 2015 or 16?
That was 2017.
That was it 17?
It was the very beginning of 2017,
Okay.
and I was on the road for like 3.5 months with them or something like that.
That's an awesome story though, man. I love that
It was
story. Did he have to like, as certain singers get older, did he have the songs transposed down a half step or a full step or
down a half
anything?
step.
Half
and
step?
and that's an interesting thing too, because so the guitars were tuned down a half step, like the E flat,
Hmm.
um, and they told me when I got there that you're going to want to tune your violin down a half step to
Okay.
match the guitar, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Okay, like,
Hmm.
um,
Well, you could sight
and
read
like,
anything on the spot, right? So it
well, the
really,
thing is though, uh, the thing is though, because they were tuned down a half step and I wasn't. Every song I played had like 5 or 6 sharps, 5 or 6 flats, and the key signature. Really awkward keys to play on
gotcha.
on the violin, but it made me so much better at difficult keys. Now, because of that tour, anytime I'm in a situation with classical music, which with crazy key signatures, it's like, oh, no problem, I got this.
That's
You know,
awesome though. Like for guitar, I always tune half step down. I have been for
Mhm.
years. And
Right,
just because I don't know, I think it sounds a little tougher and it's easier on my voice since I play so much.
right.
But you have to get your guitar set up half step down so it's not, messing up with your neck. You can't probably just tune your violin, right? I mean,
So,
or is it
right.
is it different? I mean, is it
I tried it before. My brother Sean, he lives in Madison, Wisconsin, and he's really into like old music now. So he has a forte piano, which is like a step before the modern piano as we know it. It's a different kind of thing. And he's also got harpsichord and everything. But
oh,
oftentimes back then, like in the 16 and 1700s, they didn't use A440. It was lower pitched than we're used to, right? So
really?
people who want to play this music authentically, the A is going to sound more like an A flat,
Really?
because yeah, A440 had not been established yet in that century.
Who did
And so
establish that whole thing? Like, what was the? I don't
not
know
an
the history of that.
I'm not an expert on the history,
Okay,
but from what I understand, I think it would even vary from region to region what pitch center they were using.
that makes
Um,
sense.
but so I tried to play with Sean with his lower tuned harpsichord because he wanted me to play something with him. And I tuned my violin down, and it just didn't respond the same way. Like the vibrations of the strings, like the body of the instrument just wasn't attuned to that vibration. It just didn't
Right.
feel right. It didn't, the strings didn't ring out the same way. Like,
Mhm.
I don't like it.
It's
For
so
people who,
cool that you're able
yeah,
to keep it though, and it's like I'm not fast enough to even like if somebody was like, all right, I'm capoed on two, and then and like, okay, I don't I fake everything, brother. That's why it's always fun to talk to you because you
you can
actually know what
remember.
you're doing, man. When is
And when I
the
don't, I get good at it anyway.
when's the Lakewood show happening? Like in how many?
Oh, this is a month long production, and we're
Okay.
coming up. We're coming up to our final week now.
Oh, well,
So,
damn it! I should have got you earlier, man.
hey,
I'll try
yeah,
to push you
there's
up.
still some tickets available, but uh like so this upcoming week we've got shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then we're done.
Okay. You guys
Yeah.
rehearse every day?
We had like two or three rehearsals, just musicians. And then we had, I think, two dress rehearsals where we got together with the actors,
That's it.
and then and then
Yeah,
we hit it.
just roll.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Are you still
yeah.
giving lessons on the side too, hustler?
No, I got. You remember back in the day when we were neighbors that I was teaching, and that was my primary source of living, and
Right.
I got so burned out. In fact, like when I got the call to go on tour with Jeff, that's when I gave up my studio. Like as soon as I got that call, it's like there was a me-shaped hole in the wall, you know, and
Well,
I gave
wasn't
up
it
my studio and didn't look back.
really?
Yeah, I don't want to teach anymore. I'll make exceptions. Like if there's one student who wants lessons from me, I'll do it, you know. But I'm not going to make that my primary living, you know.
Right. That's a lot of, I don't know. It's kind of scary with the scheduling, I'm sure. And did you have
Yeah.
it so that like if somebody canceled on you, they still had to pay like half or something like that? Or
I mean, I, I worked at a studio who was owned by a student of my mother's. My mom is a private piano teacher. She's been doing that for decades, you know. And
Mm,
and there were actual studio policies on paper that, you know, protected the teachers as far
good.
as, you know, relying on your income, you know.
Tell me about the Blue Coats.
Well, I was in my high school marching band all 4 years of high school, and really, I was, you know, kind of a lousy student, and just the ensembles I were in was the only thing that ever got me to go to school, you know, honestly. But I was like after high school, I was really floundering, kind of getting into trouble, and blah blah blah. Um, Blue Coats are part of an organization called Drum Corps International, or DCI. It's a bunch of competitive musical marching ensembles that go on tour throughout the summer and compete against each other, you know. And my younger brother Sean is the one who discovered it originally, and he became obsessed with it. And I was just kind of depressed and not interested in anything, and I didn't,
High school.
you know, whatever. Well, this was a couple years after high school, you
Oh, it
know.
was? Okay.
And so one day Sean decided, he was so obsessed with it. He's a percussionist, and he decided to audition for the Blue Coats. And he went to the first audition camp, which is right after Thanksgiving. And my mom went with him. You know, he was still young. I think he was 17 or something like that. Yeah. And they came home after the audition camp, and they sat me down and they said, Evan, like, this is absolutely for you, for you. This was made for you. You were made for this. You have to go. And my literal response was, whatever, I got nothing better to do, you know? And I wasn't used to that kind of rigor. I went to the next audition camp, which was in December, and this was December 2000, which was the audition camps for the 2001 season, right?
Where was that at
And
then?
in Canton, and I was not used to that kind of rigor, and my body was just hating every second of it, you know.
That's the thing. It's no
And
joke, man. I,
yeah,
I first of
yeah.
all, I'm not coordinated enough to probably even do the steps, you know. I mean, and then on top of it, play. I can't imagine.
I was so weak back then. I played trumpet, the lightest brass instrument in the corps, and I was having trouble just holding it up with correct posture because I was so weak. You
Did you
know,
have to
I
like work
remember,
out like actually curls and stuff?
yeah, well, mainly I would just have to practice in the correct posture just to get my
Gotcha.
body used to it. I couldn't even run to the end of the block back then. I was so weak. And then I got to the point, you know, throughout the summer, where you know, go run three miles, and then we'll give you breakfast. I'm like,
Right.
okay, but Doug Thrower, who was the brass arranger, and he was really involved in the teaching aspect of it back then. He liked my playing, so he took a chance on me, even though every physical aspect of me was a complete mess. And he gave me a contract, and he said, "You better shape up before move-ins."
Mm,
And they almost sent me home because the first week after move-ins went so roughly for me. But then I just my
something
mindset
clicked,
was,
huh?
I am not going to let them send me home. I am not going to let anyone tell me I'm not good enough. And it was like a light switch went off in my head. It's history from there. It all worked out.
Did you start trumpet or start on violin?
Uh, I started trumpet when the band program started in school, so fifth grade.
Fifth
right?
grade.
But I actually started violin when I was 4 years old, like before kindergarten even started.
Wow.
My
Was
mom's a piano teacher, and she tried to get me to play piano at first. My twin brother, Brian, had no problem with it, but my hands weren't big enough for the piano. So she found me a violin teacher, and it stuck. There you
wow.
go.
And did you actually to it like a fish to water, or was it mom just like you're gonna learn this because I'm a musician, or like did you actually enjoy it like when you're you know what I mean? Like when
My
you
mom
were
tells
that
me the
young.
story. Yeah. My mom tells me the story that at my first violin lesson, they were planning on just like teaching me the mechanics of the instrument.
Mhm.
Um, like this is how to move your bow, how to hold the instrument, blah blah blah. Maybe squeak out a melody once you learn how to use your left hand, blah blah blah. And I've been watching my mom and dad teach, for my whole life, and they weren't even going to bother like teaching me note reading yet. And 5 or 10 minutes into my first lesson, I asked the teacher, Jeanette Meyer was her name. I asked, "Where's my book?"
Wow.
And she's like, "Okay," and just started with the note,
So
reading, learning
you
how to
knew how
read
to
music
play
right away.
violin before you knew how to tie your shoes, pretty much, right?
Actually, you're probably right. I probably still have Velcro shoes.
But that's crazy, and but like so, I'm like so envious of like people that wouldn't their parents like made them take lessons or something. You know what I mean? When they're that young.
Yeah, my mom was one of the biggest. Like, I lucked out there. I've known other people who grew up as passionate about music as I was and worked really hard at it, took lessons, and throughout their entire childhood, their parents never once came to one of their concerts or anything. I don't get that at all.
Right.
I don't have kids, but if I did, I'd be at every concert, you know?
Yeah, because we didn't really have much music playing in the house at my
Oh, really?
growing up. Not
Well,
really. I don't
well,
even
what did you listen to when you were growing up?
just the radio, and then I
Yeah.
mean, I would as a little kid work odd jobs and bale hay for
Mhm.
my comic book addiction and my
Yeah.
I started buying music like tapes and CDs and stuff, and I don't know. I know that they were worried when I asked for a guitar, because they thought it was just they were like they put it off for a couple years because they didn't think I'd
Well, how old were you when you got your first one?
13 maybe
Oh, okay.
13 14.
And you taught yourself?
Yeah, I never took a lesson. It was kind of just accident. Like somehow I would pick up like the bass notes, first. And I mean, I was in a band before I even knew how to tune my guitar. Like it was dumb. I realized quick that nobody wanted to be a bass player, so I bought a bass, taught
Oh,
myself how to
cool.
play bass, and then it was like this band. I think I was 15, and this band was like, "Hey, we need a bass player." All right, cool. And the
I
rest is
remember
history. And then I
years
literally would
ago.
I'd learn
Okay.
like chords from watching the guitar player, and because
Yeah.
he took lessons and stuff. And I mean I don't even know. I'm probably still not playing right, but it's just looking back. I mean I wish that somebody would have just been like, idiot, here's a tuner, this is what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Well, I was going to tell you, years ago, I went to a Violent Femmes concert. What's the lead singer's name again? Do you know?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But in the middle of the show, just out of nowhere, he said, "Hey kids, if you want to make it in rock and roll, guitar lessons are a dangerous thing. You want to make it, never take it."
Nice. I mean,
Yeah,
but that I was always scared, to that it would Gordon Gano, is that him?
yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, I've been putting out so much music for so long. It's like, and I've always talked about wanting to take a lesson, but I'm worried it'll mix up, scramble something in my head that make me
Well, I
change the
mean,
way I
are
write.
are there any like limitations that you want to overcome that you can think of? I mean, because it seems like you're doing pretty well.
I mean, it's like silly stuff like learning how to solo and tap and
Yeah.
sweeps and shreds, and but I've never been that guy anyway. I've always been like
Yeah.
the song guy. I'm more
Yeah.
interested in a song. So who are some of your favorite composers then, other than
Well, when I
Meshuggah?
really
Other than Meshuggah.
like when I first really started buckling down, like sometimes I wonder what I could have been if I practiced as hard as a kid as I did as an adult.
What?
But But
Thing
when
is
I
though, dude,
when
you're successful,
yeah,
man. You're a musician. You pay the
well, I'm
rent.
not
You
rich.
well, what does rich mean? Come on, man. You're able to do something you love,
Yeah,
and survive.
yeah,
That's success, man. I
yeah,
can't put it any other way.
yeah. I agree.
I'm
I
sorry.
agree.
Go. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, what you asked. Like when I really started to buckle down, like in my 20s, um, I mean, I got really obsessed with Tchaikovsky. Just that Russian romantic music really agrees with me. And
Okay.
Tchaikovsky's a total drama queen. Just like emotions just oozing out of it.
Yeah.
It's stuff. And and of course I love Beethoven. Shostakovich. But like the interesting thing is that throughout my 20s, I had a real like Brahms just didn't speak to me, and like I had a really hard time understanding what was so great about it. And I forget exactly when it was, probably around the age of 30. It just clicked with me when I
And you
was,
appreciated
uh,
it.
and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is like the greatest music ever written.
Wow. That ha
Especially the fourth symphony. Like,
that happens to me still to this day. Like, I mean, one of the interviews I just did the other day, it was like somebody asked me
yeah.
if I liked a certain band. I'm like, nah, I couldn't really get into them. But then I'm like,
Mhm.
there's bands that came out 20 years ago that I'm just now just rediscovering. I'll probably appreciate this band you're talking about in 10 or
Yeah.
15 years. I don't know. I
Can,
don't,
can can you think of one now? What one that like you finally got it later?
most of it's weird stuff,
Okay.
like 80s weird pop stuff that never made it big. That I'm
Okay.
that I'm like there's a band I found called Comsat Angels. And as silly as it sounds, I've had this song stuck in my head since I was a kid. Do you remember the movie Real Genius
I never saw it.
with Val Kilmer?
No, I never saw that. Is that, oh,
Okay.
that's from the 80s?
It's like 85 or 6 or something like that.
Got
But
it.
there's a song in it and it's been literally stuck in my head since I was a kid. And I never knew who it was. And then finally it was on and I Shazammed it and it came up
Oh,
and I just discovered stuff and I bought their whole catalog and it's like were these guys not huge? Like, and
yeah.
it's to the point where I started recording these tribute albums of these albums that I am considering masterpieces to me. I did
Oh, yeah.
I did their album from '85. It's coming out in the fall. I mean,
Wow.
it's it's just really really cool, like pop, but it's like it's not cheeseball stuff. It's actual meaningful
What's the
lyrics.
name of the band?
Comsat Angels,
Spell that for me.
Comsat Angels.
Angel. Okay. And so I'm gonna look that up, and I should listen to their album that came out in '85.
It's called 7 Day Weekend. If you can find it,
Oh,
that's the
shit.
thing. Like I found it on some I don't even know some foreign
Well, it's not on
website.
Spotify or anything like that.
I don't think it is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But if you look up on YouTube, look up the
Mhm.
song "I'm Falling." That's the one that's been stuck in my head for years. But
Okay.
that's one. I mean, there's I just rediscovered. Do you remember a band called Seosin from the early
No.
2000s? Early
No.
2000s. And then one
Hmm.
night I was just, going down the YouTube rabbit hole and I don't know why it even popped up. And it was a live concert from just like 2 months ago. They got back together and I'm like, how did I miss these guys from 2002?
Cool.
It's great.
Huh.
Like it's like heavy, but like, riff, but beautiful, but screamy, but I don't
So
know.
like so like that they got started around 2000, you
Their
would
first
say?
thing came out in like '01 or something like that.
So they're probably like younger than us then. Eh?
I
But
don't think so.
you know what band I can think of that when I was a kid growing up, like I never was even the slightest bit interested in them, and that was ZZ Top. And now I listen to ZZ Top, I'm
Dude, that's another one though. They're like, and they put out so many friggin' albums.
yeah.
Actually, fun story. My old band
Mhm.
Cindas, we were doing some shows, a few shows back in the day, and we're coming home from a distance trip, and I think we were right past Toledo or something. We stopped at one of those rest areas, like a Burger
Yeah.
King or something like that, and my guitar player is like, dude, that's Billy Gibbons over there. It's ZZ
No
Top.
way.
Beard. He had the hat on, and he's like, excuse
Dark
me, sir.
sunglasses.
Yeah, he did. He had the sunglasses on still. He's like, hey, are you Billy Gibbons? And he just looked over me. He's like, nah, man. And then as soon as the people in front of us got their order and left, he's like, hey, dude, what's up? I'm Billy. And he was the coolest. It was the coolest. Like he didn't want any attention, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, I dig that, you know. I dig the humble nature. Like
Although
to
for someone who doesn't want, for someone who doesn't want to be mobbed, he sure made himself look conspicuous.
Mhm. Right. I mean, you look at the guy, he's
He's
got
one
to
of the
be
most
a,
recognizable people.
right. If you listen to anything with a guitar. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Wasn't he like wasn't he Jimi Hendrix's favorite guitar player or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought
Wow,
I
he goes back a long way.
yeah, first ZZ Top album came out in like I want to say like 68 or 69, I think.
I don't even think I knew they did anything in the '60s. That's amazing.
Dude, look them up without their beards and stuff. It's
Yeah,
wild. First album, let's see. It came out in 71. What didn't Jimmy die in 70 or 71?
I don't know the history.
Maybe I just made that up.
I just started to enjoy their music.
Yeah. Which stuff though? Like the actual early blues stuff or like the more polished like the
Well,
80s?
I so I from what I understand, like when they started adding keyboards and stuff, like a lot of their fans dropped off, but like I like both kind of like both
Right.
sides of that dividing line,
Mhm.
because they got a groove.
I yeah, there's so many like 80s
Yeah.
bands and stuff that I grew
Even
to appreciate
even
that
yeah,
what
even a band like Van Halen when they started adding the keyboards and stuff, all the OG fans are like, oh, this, but
right.
I like it. In fact, oh,
Do you like
Sammy
it
Hagar's a
more?
better singer. Okay, all right,
Well, he
I said
was
it.
honestly, he was a better singer. Dave's a
Yeah,
better entertainer. There you go,
and
right?
yeah, but I actually like the songs better too when Sammy was in the band.
Well, I think
You know,
lyrically it was more real. It was more like, it
yeah,
wasn't, so I am a perverted guy, I'm your ice cream man, basically. Where, you know what I mean? It wasn't just all about the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We're saying it was
yeah.
more about like feelings, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Didn't Sammy Hagar play at Blossom just last summer? Like that's crazy.
I'm not sure. Like
He's
the dude's
he's,
he's
he's
still
like
doing it.
75 years old. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, he's lived and seen it, and honestly,
yeah.
I've gained respect for him in the last couple of years. Just the way, like seeing some
Hmm.
of his, he had that like the interview thing he was doing for a while too, and you
Yeah,
know, like adapt or die, man. It's cool. Like you roll with the punches, just because you have to keep rolling. Everything changes,
right.
If you don't, I don't ever want to be that, the old man that yells at cloud because it's not, you know what I mean? But
Well,
I
in
do, I
order to
do.
become that, first you have to live that long.
It's true. But I do like the fact that like there's actually rock bands like charting again, like,
Yeah.
sales wise. Whether or
Oh
not
yeah.
they're wearing masks or not, I don't care. I think it's cool and I think it's a time when hopefully a lot of kids get
I
pissed
mean,
off with the
I
state of the
don't even
world
know
right
how
now.
charting works anymore
I
because
don't
like
either.
nobody buys albums anymore. Do they take the streaming into consideration for that? Like,
I think they
I don't even
do,
know.
but I'm
Yeah.
not even sure anymore either because like, dude, it's so tough to even.
Hmm.
I mean, I've released like 35 albums and
Yeah.
I've never been in the black on any of them, especially
Mhm.
now. And it's like,
I- yeah. Even Jeff Tate when I was on the road with him, the entire tour, he was on his computer working on his upcoming album,
mhm,
and he would say from time to time like, I'm doing this because I need to. Like nobody buys albums anymore. This isn't going to make 10 cents,
right.
Like I
Yeah,
mean
it's
somebody as internationally famous as him, he knew he wasn't going to make money off of it.
right. It's tough too because it's like a lot of times I just feel like busker, troubadour, vagrant. That's basically every couple of albums I'll try to do a Kickstarter, to help pay for it at least.
Hmm.
So I'm at least not too far in the red when I release it,
Right,
but I don't know, man.
right.
It's tough. I definitely should have gone your way and learned how to read and do music. And I mean, have you noticed, like, though? I mean, the crowds and like symphony concert goers, I don't think they'll ever go away. Do you?
Well, there's different schools of thought on this. Like, like take the Cleveland Orchestra for example. Like we've got like what one of the top 5 best orchestras on the planet right here in Cleveland, which is crazy. If you talk to someone like my brother Sean, he thinks that there's way too much focus. I hate to speak for him, but he thinks there's too much focus on music that was written hundreds of years ago. You
Really?
know, and he thinks that there should be more new music performed.
Well,
You know,
is there that much new music being written for symphony
well,
orchestra? That's the thing. It's like
it depends. I'm not a history scholar, but the way I think there's some kind of aspect of like you know
film scores and
especially
stuff to a point.
well that too. I mean orchestras have to do that to make money. Like a popular thing now is they show the movie on the screen and the
Right.
orchestra plays the score.
Hmm.
There's a lot to be said for like when Europe was completely war torn and everything, and just like cities are decimated and everything. It's like that was like the beginning of the end for huge symphony orchestras. Like anybody listening to this who's like actually a history buff, like would be way more qualified to talk about this than me. But
Right.
but we still have huge major symphony orchestras, and that's great. And they're still packing the house. I don't know what it's going to be like in 50 or 100 years. You
Right.
know, maybe they're going to have to change their model. I don't know, but then again, people still want to hear Beethoven.
Hmm. Well, have you ever done any of those I mean, I see they do like the music of John Williams, like at Blossom, and where they play
I
like
played. Yeah.
you've done those.
Oh, I've actually never done a concert where you're playing along with a film. I've never done that, and that kind of impresses me. Like, what would have to go along with that? I don't actually know the details of how they pull it off. Like, if the conductor
He's got to have
actually
a
has,
click
like,
track or something in his.
gotta have something, right?
I
Like,
would think so.
because it's got to be precise.
Right. All right. Well, find that out for me because I want to know too. That's
Okay,
the thing. Like, okay, so how you they taught you, they made you learn the take violin at 4. I mean,
right.
were you just going with the flow, or did you immediately love music just because of mom,
Well,
right? And
it
dad?
was like when I was young, it was like this is just what you do.
Right.
This is a part of life.
It's a
You,
family
you get up,
business.
you eat your cereal, you put on your shoes, you go to school, you play your music. Like,
Wow.
um, and you go to your lesson every week. Like that
Hmm.
was just part of what you do.
Yeah.
In fact, when I was really young, I didn't even understand that not every kid had music being played in the house all the time. Like
Really?
both of my parents were giving music lessons in the house all hours of the day. And of course, most of their students were kids, so they were working after school hours when I was already home.
No
So
way.
my dad taught piano and trumpet, and my mom taught piano. So at any given time before bedtime, I was hearing 2 pianos going simultaneously, or a piano and a trumpet playing
Wow.
completely different music. And of course, we had to have, like when we were young, we had to have babysitters in the house because even though my parents were home, they were working. So we
Right.
had to have a babysitter with us.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's another thing though, like hearing some of the kids that maybe struggled that you could still hear them in the house. Did that make you like, oh, he missed that G chord, or you know what I mean? Or did
Well,
you not
actually,
pay attention that much?
there was other bad aspects of it too. Like if me and my brothers would start fighting and interrupt the lesson, like either mom or dad would have to come out of their lesson and get us to stop fighting. Bad stuff like that.
All right, back to that first one though, like the albums
Right.
or bands that like
Right.
that
So
made you.
even before I got into rock and roll, I think Michael Jackson is the first thing I got really into. You know,
Really?
like I remember the first time I saw the video for Thriller. I think it was like on MTV or VH1, something like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I was really young. I think that album came out in what, 83? So I think I saw it when I was 3 or 4 for the
Okay.
first time. And I was born in 81
Did
for
it scare
anybody
you
who wants
though,
to know
or
how ancient I am.
did you?
I think if you remember at the very end of the video when the credits are rolling, he turns his eyes to the screen and he's got these yellow cat eyes, and that freaked me out. I think I had some nightmares over that. But then I remember the turning point when it came to like rock and roll. 1987, we were about to go on a family trip, and I had the TV on, and it
Def
was time to
Leppard.
go. Nope, nope. 1987, the music video for Paradise City by Guns N' Roses
All
came on.
right.
The video, it showed them playing a live show, and there's this sea of people out there, and they're
Right.
just rocking the out, and I was 6 years old at the time. That changed.
You
I'm
know,
telling you. And it's got like the lyrics are so instantly memorable. Take me down to
yeah.
the paradise where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. I never forgot it. From the first time I saw that music video, I became obsessed. That was my introduction to rock and roll.
That's the thing. Appetite comes out today. Like some of those songs are really long, but that album is a masterpiece if you put it in
Well,
that time. You know what I
they
mean?
had songs in Use Your Illusion that were even longer.
Right,
What's it called? November Rain is like 9 or 10 minutes long.
right. Get away with that
But
now. It's tough. But then again,
yeah,
it's like there's so many different facets where it's not where it was just everything was funneled into like a few different things for like when we were kids, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
like literally there's you could tell me, all right, the one interview I did earlier this week,
Hmm.
I mean, dude's dropping names of these bands I've never heard of, and I'm like, I'm excited now because I'm gonna check these guys out. That's what's cool about now too, is just
Right.
there's so much music out, but just trying to dig for the good stuff is the toughest part.
But
But
but also it's never been easier to do that.
that's right, with the ease
Music
of
is
it,
so accessible now. It's
right?
crazy.
But it's also how do you I just wish there was a way to, I don't know, make it a sustainable income for songwriters. You know what I mean?
Oh
Even
God, yeah.
it's just, I don't know. Everybody, like, my accountant asked me, he's like, "How do you survive?" And I'm like, "I have a girlfriend." You know, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's crazy time to be original guy. So I've been recording a ton of covers, and I do want you still to guest on something, either original or cover.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you what, if you ever want a violin when you're recording, I'm your guy.
I know, and we've been
But
talking about
and,
this for
but
15 years. You know,
right, right. But hey, we're not dead yet, so
that's
you know.
right. Well, I mean, it's coming. I promise, and
Yeah.
I swear, because I think I wrote like 90 songs for the new solo record. I got to go through and figure out what
See,
I'm
and
gonna do. And
that's what I was going to say though is that we've been talking about me so much, but that's one thing that you have that I basically don't. As far as actually writing, like creating original music, I've done very, very little of that in my life. Like
really,
that's something that you have that
but is
that
that something
I,
you want to
I've
do?
never. If I did, I probably would have done it by now, right?
True. Have you ever messed around even with like any type of MIDI where you can actually program like a symphony? Like that's if you're not able to
Oh,
record it, have
please.
you messed with
I'm
any of that?
I'm not going to write a symphony. I like it blows my mind that anybody has ever been able to do that. I mean,
Right. I was just
that's
curious because like
insane.
it's like a different level of just
Yeah.
that fine line of genius and insane or something, you know? Like I don't know.
Hmm.
That's another reason I've always admired you for that stuff too. Like I don't know. It's a lot to stomach and try to break down if you don't actually sight read and all that stuff with like your part. Like I don't know
Well,
if I'd be able to pick
it's
out.
interesting. I've worked with all kinds of musicians, all the varying levels of training or no training that you can imagine, right?
Mhm.
And I've worked with musicians where I'm literally the only one who knows how to read or write. So, for example, when I got hired with Jeff Tate, I believe when I was on the phone, Susan, his wife, is the manager.
Okay.
Okay. And she's the one I talked to on the phone. And she said, "Okay, you're hired, and the first show is in 3 days."
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh my God, it's a 2 hour set, right?"
Right.
And 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 so she emailed me a file, an audio recording of the set with their previous violinist
Okay.
when they were in Europe,
Like,
the guy who
was it isolated, like the violin a little bit more, or was
No,
it
no,
like
it
it
was just a
was?
recording of the whole band, but you could hear it
Wow.
obviously. I mean,
Okay.
it's just, when it's just a violin playing along with acoustic guitars, you can easily hear the
Yeah,
violin.
true.
But what I had to do, if I was going to have any hope of playing this accurately at the first show, the only way to do that was I had a notebook of manuscript paper, the musical staff paper, right?
Hmm.
And I listened, I had my headphones on, and
You
I
wrote
was
it out.
meticulously writing down every
Wow.
single note of the show, of this 2 hour set. And the first show was in San Antonio. I got on the plane. I'm on the plane down in San Antonio, still listening to my headphones and writing down the music.
Mm.
You know, and our first rehearsal when I got down there was on the tour bus.
Wow.
and Scott, the lead guitarist, is already like, I can't believe you did that. You know, like
Were
here I am
you
like playing the songs right away. You
were
know,
you familiar
and
with like the whole Queensryche catalog, or was it kind of like just
no,
the couple of the hits, you know?
I never got deeply into Queensryche before this. I
Mm.
knew the hit, that's it.
Which is
But
funny because like really they're proggy and kind of
they're
when it
great.
comes to rock and
Yeah,
metal at the time, they'd probably be one of the closer ones that could be compared to like a symphony because they had so many moving pieces. It wasn't just like GDC chords, you know what I mean?
but that's another reason why it's kind of hard to learn. It's like, drop one beat out of this measure, add another beat in this measure. You know, like rhythmically,
Wow.
it's you can't predict it. You
Mm.
know, and so I had a music stand on stage with my notebook with all that I had written out. I had that music stage stand on stage with me for about a week and a half, and then I was like, okay,
You knew it
I'm
by
going to try
then.
to play the show. I said I'm going to try to play the show by memory tonight,
Mm.
and it went okay. And I never used the music again after that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome though.
so.
Any new groups or bands or anything that really kind of took your fancy and
You
that
know,
you
the older I get, the less often it happens.
really?
Honestly, yeah. Like right around the time I discovered Meshuggah, completely on another spectrum, I discovered Florence and the Machine and became obsessed with them. You know,
Okay.
and other than that, like I just like there's very few bands that I absolutely have to see live every time they come to town.
Yeah.
And They Might Be Giants is the one that I've seen the most. I've
Really?
seen them 6 times,
No.
and yeah,
Wow.
I saw them for the first time when I was in high school in 1997, and I've seen them every chance I got ever since then. So
Really?
36 times so far, and they're coming to the Agora this November, so that'll be 37 for me.
Wow. That's crazy. I
Yeah.
I have never loved a band that much. Like that's
Oh,
that's
but you know what? I'll tell you what. Fish fans put me to shame. I've
that's
got friends
true.
who've seen Fish over 70 times.
Can you name a Fish song? I
Nope.
can't. I can't either. I can't do it. I mean, my drummer from back in the day, he loved Fish, and I'm just kind of like, I guess I don't do enough drugs to get it. I don't know. It's just, I mean, I appreciate it, I respect it, and everything. It's just to me, it just seemed kind of like, oh, Grateful Dead's gone, so let's get
The only
high and go
jam
see
band I've
Fish.
ever seen live, if you can consider them a jam band, I saw Dave Matthews once.
I don't know if I can.
Is that
I
a
don't
jam
know.
band? Would you call them that?
I don't know. I've never seen
They
him
do
live,
kind of
so maybe.
they do kind of go off like and spend like 10, 15 minutes just jamming on one chord sometimes.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, but guess where I saw them?
It was the show in Chicago right before they dumped all the poop.
No, that would have been great. No, it was Woodstock '99.
Oh, you were there, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you stay for
18 years
Biscuit
old, fresh
on
out of high
Sunday?
school. I was there all 3 days.
Were
I
you
was there for
really?
everything. I
Wow,
almost died when Limp Bizkit was on.
no
Like
doubt.
it was so crazy. I spent a total of 30 hours in that pit. I
Mm,
was within 50 to 100 yards of the stage all 3 days, 10 hours a day. I don't know how I lived. Like
right.
I barely had any water. It was the hottest like
Yeah.
July weekend. And when Limp Bizkit was on, it got so rough in there. I started fearing for my life. I tried to get out. I couldn't escape. I just had to tough it out.
Well, I'm
There was
watching
like
that.
200-pound people like falling
Right.
on my head and stuff. Like it was,
I'm watching
yeah.
that train wreck Travis Scott Astroworld documentary right now. I'd stopped at like maybe half hour left in, but most shows I go to nowadays anyway, it's like I stand at a good vantage point, far and away,
Yeah.
like far enough away from any of this stuff, just because I want to like appreciate the band and the show, and you know what I mean,
Right.
like that. It's like, but also because my back's wrecked and I got spinal injuries and
Yeah. When I was younger, like, when I went to Woodstock, I was 18. And when I was younger, I would get in there.
Mhm.
But now I don't have the taste for that anymore. Like even if I wasn't worried about getting hurt or something like that, like I wanna like it takes away from the show if you're like fearing for your life, not fearing, but if you're like defending your body.
Right.
So so if I'm at a metal show now or something where there's gonna be a hit, my strategy is to stand directly directly behind the action.
Right.
And then usually I keep my arm up like this just in case something, you know. But
Do you think it's just instilled like the violence is in American blood? Like, why can't like fans of music here just be like Europe where they just bounce and it's a fun
well,
party atmosphere, you know what I
I don't
mean?
know about that. Like, because like there's been there's a lot of metal in Europe. Do they not mosh the way Americans do? I don't
They
even know.
do, but it seems I don't know. I don't know. You're right though. Most of the good metal fests I think are in Europe nowadays, but there are
Yeah, I
some.
mean, like Sweden is the metal capital of the world, isn't it? Sweden has like week-long metal festivals, like nowhere else in the world
Right.
has them.
I'd love
You
to
know,
go to Wacken, the one in there's an awesome documentary about Wacken too. But yeah, I think I was talking to somebody in one of these interviews, and they were talking about I think Hellfest is going on right now in France or something like that.
oh wow.
Yeah, dude.
Hmm.
I mean, the fact that there's at least some rock bands getting popular here worldwide
Yeah.
again, it's a good thing. But only real regrets in my life I probably have would be like why I didn't move to Europe or something when I was 21 or
What
something.
country would you want to be in?
Honestly, I don't know. I
Hmm.
want to see it all. I mean, I love traveling, and I think it makes you a better person. It makes you appreciate people,
Yeah.
different cultures, and
Just don't tell anybody you're American.
dude, it's the truth. When we went to Europe in 2019, we went to Ireland, England, France, and Italy,
Wow.
and we learned quickly to tell people we were Canadian
Oh
because
wow.
if somebody just asked us, like, oh, that accent, or where are you from? We'd say, USA, America, blah blah blah, and they either had this look of total disdain, like, or they'd be like,
Yeah.
ugh, or they'd have this like, oh, like this almost pity because 2019, they saw, you know,
Hi, Katie.
yep, that's our new one of our new one,
Yeah,
Maxie.
I never met that one.
No, Daniel, we met Daniel. Daniel
Hmm.
passed away.
Oh, that's too bad. That was a nice kitty.
He was a good boy, but he was
Yeah,
18, so he had a pretty good run.
that's a good life.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So other than the show, this is the last week.
Hmm.
What's lined up after that?
So, so I already so the musical director of this show that I'm currently in, his name is Larry Goodpaster, and he already told me that he wants to hire me for the next show he's doing at the Beck Center.
Awesome.
You're gonna love this. Guess what it is? This is gonna be
Oh,
the pinnacle of my career. It's
Fiddler on the Roof.
SpongeBob the
Oh,
musical.
it's fun. No way. That's awesome. Dude.
It's gonna be a show the kids will love. It's basically like for the holiday season. I think it starts like early December and goes like slightly past the new year, you know.
Very cool. That's
And
awesome,
I
man.
actually you can watch the actual Broadway production of it on Paramount Plus. So I went and checked it out. It's a lot of fun, I'll tell you.
Very cool. Like
Yeah.
what do you think of like Hamilton and that type of stuff?
I actually went to see Hamilton when it was at Playhouse Square here in Cleveland, and I liked it a lot. It
Did
was a
you?
great. I've actually gone to several shows over the past few years at Playhouse Square. Well, I was in one, of course, the Patsy Cline show that I told you about.
Right.
That was at the Hannah Theater, which is a smaller theater. But in the big state theater, I saw Hamilton and I saw Moulin Rouge.
Hmm.
And last year there was do you remember? Did you see anything about that Michael Jackson show?
No.
I forget what it was called, but I went to see
This
that.
is it or something like that.
Maybe. But my friend Dave McHenry was playing guitar in that show, so I wanted to go see it. Plus, you know, as controversial as Michael Jackson is and all the bad things he may or may not have done, I can't help it. I love Michael Jackson, you know,
You think he did it?
and
Do you think he
probably,
did it? He
probably.
probably. Did you watch that documentary?
No, I can't
Don't
bring
watch
myself.
it. If
No,
you want to have your childhood memories and
I'm
you
telling you what. There's certain documentaries that I know are going to upset me. They made two documentaries about Woodstock '99. I don't even want to watch them. I can't bring myself to do it.
the one on Netflix is pretty amazing. Like, and it's like
Yeah.
I didn't get to go. One of my buddies went, but I mean, I'm kind of glad I didn't go. I mean, any
Yeah.
of you guys that
No,
that
but
that got your war wounds from there, it's like
Woodstock is a weird thing, okay? Woodstock '99, because I was very young, and sheltered. Like I grew up in Bay Village, for God's sake, like I grew up in a bubble. Okay. Then I went to Woodstock 99 and I had the time of my life. It was amazing. Even when the riots
Wow.
started after the Red Hot Chili Peppers broke into the Jimi Hendrix song Fire, that's when all the fires broke out.
Right.
But even through all that, I was having the time of my life.
But
And back then,
watch that one. Don't watch the Michael Jackson.
oh God, no.
But I don't know.
But
I'd watch. I try to consume like every musical documentary I can ever watch, even if it's somebody I don't like. It's just
yeah,
I don't know why. It's just like I love music. I love talking about music, and I love listening to music.
yeah.
I don't know if I went deaf, I'd definitely I definitely
Can you believe Beethoven went deaf?
right.
Like he wasn't born deaf. He went deaf in the middle of his career, and then he wrote his best symphonies after he went deaf.
I mean, how is that possible? Like, you know what I mean? It's just that
Really.
ingrained in your brain that you just know, or was it? I don't. It's hard for me to grasp that. Like,
I've heard stories like he took the legs off of his piano. So like he had
feel
a
the
grand piano.
vibrations, right?
He took the legs off the piano, so it was just sitting. The body of the piano was just sitting on the floor, and he would sit down on the floor and play the piano, so you could feel the vibrations, like
Hmm.
or stuff like that. And I
The
think
thing is, dude, what if he was just a real good swindler? He's like, what? What? And now everybody's
well,
like, he's deaf, he's deaf. And then he's like, ah, this
yeah,
will sell even more tickets because now everybody thinks I'm deaf and I'm writing
I
my
think
best.
his fifth symphony, I believe, is the first symphony he wrote after he lost his hearing. And he conducted again. Historians are going to tear me apart if they hear this, and I'm wrong about any of this. But
Whatever,
this
who
is what I
cares?
understand. Apparently, the Fifth Symphony he conducted. He conducted the orchestra for the premiere performance of the Fifth Symphony.
Wow.
And after he cut off the last note, he just stood there facing the orchestra, and the audience was going ape, and he didn't even know. He was just standing in front of the orchestra, and one of the members of the orchestra walked over to him and turned him around so he could see what was happening out there, like the audience going ape shit, you
All
know.
right, I'm calling bullshit right now.
Could be an urban legend.
He was never
He was
deaf.
never deaf.
He was never deaf. Just like
Now
Magic
I've heard.
John, just like Magic Johnson never had AIDS. I'm telling you, Magic never had AIDS, dude. He got caught cheating, and his wife said, "You know what? Nobody's ever gonna want to let you stick it in him ever again. You're gonna tell the world you got AIDS." Magic never had AIDS.
Oh, you're onto something there.
So Beethoven was never deaf. He just fucked with everybody.
He's like, they're never going to forget me now, right?
For real.
But
And
if he was indeed deaf, I feel sorry for him that he never got to hear this music.
if
It's
that's true,
brilliant.
yeah. But he felt it
Yeah.
though, right? He felt it.
Mhm.
It's
No, but
amazing. If
what I wonder sometimes is somebody who was born deaf. I wonder if they have any conception of music.
right, right. I mean, colorblind people. I mean,
I
they've
I
never
also
seen.
yeah. I also have other weird thoughts like if I'm playing music, like what does my cat think is going on when she hears music? Like
Does she hang out? Because my Daniel used to like sit on my
yeah,
the back of my chair while I was writing and recording, just screwing around with
yeah,
music. I mean,
absolutely. But
it's I
like
mean
when I'm
it's got to
practicing
be
the
like
violin,
a
what does my cat think I'm doing?
right, but it's got to be a soothing thing to them too. I would think, even though they're hearing
Unless you're
like
listening to Meshuggah.
who knows, man. Daniel like metal.
Yeah,
He was a good boy.
yeah.
So
Daniel
it
was partial to Judas Priest, right?
Daniel was a perfect little boy, but
Yeah. But as far as my life now, I've had other projects like I played with for several years. I performed with the George Martins, who's like this awesome Beatles band
wow.
here in
Okay.
Cleveland. Because they when they're doing like earlier Beatles material, they just use the core band. The guitar, bass, drums, and they use a
Right.
keyboard too. And they've done several projects over the years where they wanted to do the later albums after the Beatles stopped touring. Those later Beatles albums, after they stopped touring, they used so many auxiliary musicians
Right.
in the studio, and their goal was to perform. The George Martins, their goal was to perform this as accurately as possible to the studio albums. And so I would play violin and trumpet and do some harmony vocals with them and
Wow.
everything. We did Abbey Road, we did Sergeant Pepper, we did the White Album, we did Revolver. It was amazing.
Wow.
we did like the entire albums. You know?
Very cool. All right, last
Yeah.
question, Evan, and I'll let you go, brother. What
Okay.
what what
Yeah.
has been your absolute like favorite memory playing music or
Well,
experience, if you could say?
I think the symphonies by the great composers might be humanity's greatest achievement.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've had very like almost out of body experiences performing them.
Wow.
But I would say that the most important and amazing experience of my life was when I was in the Blue Coats.
Really?
And yes, two of my dreams came true.
That's awesome.
One, being a musician on tour. I never thought get to experience that. That was the first time I got to experience that. And two, being an athlete, basically. You know, there's like I got into the best shape of my life and
Right.
achieved things physically that I never thought I would be able to, and got to perform for huge stadium crowds, like
Right.
in giant NFL and college stadiums and everything. And it was just beyond amazing. I can't say enough about it.
Wow. Well, that's awesome, dude. Well,
Yeah.
Evan, I will let you go, brother, but I appreciate you taking the time. And honestly, this has been one of my most fun chats, actually.
This
It's
was
it's
fun.
good it's good to connect and see how you're doing. And it's been too long,
Yeah,
man. We'll have to hang out
absolutely.
sometime, man.
Yeah, and reach out anytime you need me, you know?
I will. But thank you,
Got it.
Evan. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I miss you. I hope you're good. And don't forget Chris Donley, music.com, lovelag.com. And then I literally recently put up every release I've ever done up on my personal Bandcamp. So please check that out. And if you
Right
feel the
on.
need to buy a couple albums and help a brother out, please do. Thank you,
All right.
Evan. We'll talk to you,
Peace.
brother. Thanks, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I see something better.